welcome back to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be talking about weird laws in the UK and sometimes contrasting them with the weird laws here in the US.
Yeah.
Or if it's very strange here, or if it's very strange over there.
I mean, that's going to be if I know whether we
Well,
have
you're the expert on the law.
I'm the
Thought you were.
Yes, me.
Paralegal here.
Me and my law degree.
Yeah, you and your law degree, yeah. I mean, I've just kind of looked at stuff, and, you know, that was a question on these, like, sites like Quora and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. What was the question?
What are the differences in, like, laws and stuff in the UK to US? And someone did talking about some UK laws, you know, about, like, libel and land and stuff, and some of them were quite interesting, so I thought, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an interesting topic, and anytime you can kind of see, like, what's going on somewhere else.
Yeah, because some of the stuff I didn't even know, you know, about land and stuff.
Oh, God, there's so many, like, weird laws that are
There's a couple of weird
still laws.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't included any of them. But
okay,
these are the ones that are still kind of enforced.
Yeah, because, I mean...
Because
I always see those lists, like, weird laws in, you know, whatever state that you didn't know existed. And it's like, the thing about it is they still exist because it's too much red tape to strike them down.
Decriminalize it or whatever, yeah.
So it's just a matter of, it's still a law, but we don't enforce it, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Like, you can still beat your wife, but only if it's
on Sunday.
If it's with a wet stick or something on Sunday.
Yeah, some like stupid things like that. No, like there's one that's still in existence. This is a weird one that I just remembered. If you put a stamp on, and this is a UK law, if you put a stamp on upside down, then that's effectively you committing treason against the crown.
What? Are you sure?
No,
that's not a myth.
It's not a myth, no. And apparently, because you know,
it sounds like one of those things.
You're turning it upside down, and you know, if you're caught with that, then you know you could technically still face a prison sentence for treason. You know,
that's sort
but
of
it's like it's not enforced. You know,
well, that's sort of like there's something about that with the American flag too. I think.
Yeah, if you turn it upside down or something, then
the turning the stuff upside down always just makes me think of that Big Bang Theory episode.
Yeah, so he turns the flag upside down.
Yes, to show that the house is in distress. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, no, what it was, you can't, it won't touch the ground. But that's not really a law, that's more like
something about having it upside down or backwards or something as well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, I know there's something about you can't let it touch the ground, but that's more like a tradition than a law. If it touches the ground, then, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, libel laws in the US... If someone accuses you of lying about them in print and sues you, they need to prove that what you said was false.
Yes.
But in the UK, that's reversed.
What?
If someone lied about you in print, you need to prove that what they said wasn't true.
Oh, I thought that's what you just said.
No, you do. The person who's been... UK libel law reverses the burden of proof. When suing someone for libel, it's up to the defendant to prove that what they said was true.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
Oh. So, okay. So in America, if someone said something about you, you have to prove that what they said is not true?
Yes.
In the UK, they have to prove that what they said is true.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's it, yeah. It's a little bit confusing and everything, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, either way...
So, to win a libel case in the UK, the plaintiff only needs to demonstrate that the statement hurt their reputation. Unlike in most situations in the US, they don't also need to prove that the statement was false. A UK defendant can, of course, mount a defence that it was true, which is helpful if they can prove it.
Okay, so is that what happened with the Johnny Depp
pretty
thing?
much.
So he
they just needed to prove it was true, what they said was true.
What you just said was he has to prove that it hurt his reputation. Right? Isn't that what you just said?
The statement hurt their reputation. Yeah, and I think he did.
It says you don't have to prove that what they said isn't true if you can just prove that it hurt their reputation. So he wasn't able to prove that it hurt his reputation then, basically.
He wasn't able to prove that, no.
Yeah.
But they were and I think they were arguing it on the and they were arguing it on the, is this true? You know, what you said was false. Mm-hmm. And they proved it was true. You know, I guess because of the Amber Heard thing, you know, and
yeah, well, the thing about it is...
He did hit her once or something.
Well, the thing about it is...
Or what they say, you know, yeah, it's a very weird...
I don't know how accurate this would be, like, if we're talking about the UK, but in America, these, like, magazines and newspapers and whoever, they can get around this like proving that it's true, proving that what I said is true or whatever, because all they have to do is word things just the right way. And so all they have to say is, well, what we said was this. What
we actually said was this. We weren't actually saying it
was true.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of an example. But they know how to...
Like a statement like, Elon Musk eats hamsters. You know?
Yeah.
They said Elon Musk eats hamsters, right? That's, you know, and he doesn't, and he sued them for that, you know? Yeah. He banned them from Twitter. You know, that they've said that. They can't get around that. They've plainly stated that. But if Elon Musk might eat hamsters, or may have eaten an hamster once, you know?
Yeah, may have, yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, well, we didn't say, we said you may have.
Yeah.
We didn't actually say it, and it's in your, you know.
And that's why so often...
It's all in the wording.
These tabloids can get away with saying basically anything. Well, like, you know, because it's so difficult.
We were in the grocery store the other day. Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's like, it's just so difficult to sue them because because they know how to word things just so that they can get away with saying it, basically, you know?
Yeah.
Just so that it's just legal.
Just legal. Well, like...
And it misleads, like, the people who are standing in line at the checkout because, you know...
The National Enquirer.
They have to go in and then read the article where it says, well, he may have done that, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. They just read the headline, you know?
Because there was something about... we were in the grocery store the other day, and, you know, the National Enquirer is on the stand. I don't get how they're still managing to keep... Who is funding them?
Who buys them?
Who buys them? But it's like, I'd like to look at their sales, you know, and their profits. Because it's like somebody is obviously buying this stuff. Because on the cover it's got, JFK's killer still not revealed. Biden is still covering it up after 59 years. A 59-year-long conspiracy and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like... Where's this come from? You know?
Yeah.
Where's your proof from this? But if you probably go flick through the thing, it's like, well, there may be a conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, because according to so-and-so on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that, yeah. Also in the UK, going back to the libel thing, if 1, you are sued for libel, and 2, you are a newspaper, and 3, you are not a member of a particular special press oversight organisation that most newspapers have refused to join, the Press Complaints Commission probably, or something, then you may be legally required to pay the attorney's fees for the person who filed the lawsuit, even if you win the case and are found to have done nothing wrong. This provision of law has not yet taken effect. The legislation passed after the Leveson inquiry. So even if you were, you know, you're a newspaper and, you know, someone said, oh, you said, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And they said, well, no, we didn't actually, and we can prove it. And they were like, okay, yeah, they proved it. It's like you still have to pay the person who sued you's fees.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. If you were a newspaper, you know.
So it's just making me wonder, like...
I mean, Ian Hislop would know more about it.
He's probably
the most sued man in Britain for libel.
But there you go. Like, obviously, like, that hardly ever... Or actually, like, obviously nobody's ever won against him. Really.
I'm not sure. I think someone came up on a technicality, or maybe no. I don't think he's ever been like completely, like
wiped
out in court. I think he's been found for contempt of court a couple of times over certain things.
Yeah,
I've read that somewhere. He's been found for contempt.
Ian Hislop, for anybody who doesn't know, is one of the, would you call him a host?
Panelists. Yeah, he's a team captain.
Yeah, on Have I Got News for You, which is like
political satire comedy.
Game show?
Yeah, panel.
Panel show.
Well, it was probably one of the original panel shows.
Yeah.
It's still going strong after 35 years.
Yeah. Basically, they just take headlines, mostly news and political, some entertainment. They take headlines and just make fun of them, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, it's appearances. It's his appearances on that which have gotten him into trouble, but mostly because he's editor of The Private Eye, which is a political satire.
Similar to The Onion.
Similar to The Onion, but they also make claims in there of, like, MPs, like, oh, so-and-so Boris was, caught doing this deal with so-and-so, and, or so, well, that's not true. I'm taking them to court.
The thing about them...
Take them to court, then.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know so much about
Sue for damages.
Private Eye, but Ian Hislop particularly, he's very much like what the BBC as a news organization tries to be. He's very, like... Impartial. He calls each side out about everything that they do, and I trust that he doesn't say stuff unless there's proof. Like, he just seems very...
at the end of the day, yes, you've got to be careful about what you're saying on a public forum or putting into print.
Yeah.
You become editor of The Private Eye, and you can't say, I don't know, Rishi Sunak took a bung from the Saudi government, or whatever, and it not be true in some... So you've got to, like, do some research. You can't say, oh, well, so-and-so told me over dinner. It's like, well, yeah, he could just be saying that because he doesn't like Rishi Sunak. I mean, this is just a completely made-up situation. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly is the watchword. You have to say that, but that doesn't cover you. Mm-hmm. Because, sometimes they get into trouble and...
Yeah.
They
do that. They do that on The View all the time as well. Like,
allegedly. Allegedly, so they don't get their legal department say, "Oh yeah," so they can't sue you. But it's like in the UK, it's like, yeah, that's not enough. If you're saying or doing anything about an ongoing court case or anything like that, and it's like, yeah, you're found in contempt or fined or whatever. Yeah, jaywalking is another law.
You're saying jaywalking is not a thing.
It's not a thing, yeah. It's not a thing in the UK. Usually breaking the law, and it's like, I mean, we've done it several times, where there's no markings and stuff like that, we've never been caught. It's one of those laws that's just been kind of, like, hyped up by...
Oh, you mean in we've done it over here in
America?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We've jaywalked, we jaywalk.
I mean, it's really...
Walk on the wild side,
It's really only, I would say, if it is ever enforced, it's really only enforced, like, in downtown areas. Because, and it's just like a safety thing, isn't it? Because you can get run over if you're not crossing at crosswalks or whatever. If the cars are not expecting you to be there, it's like you're more likely to get run over. So
you're more likely to get a jaywalking ticket in Southern California than you are in, like, New Hampshire or something like that.
Well, I would say more like New York City. I mean, who walks in Southern California?
Wildly inconsistent, kind of like all over the states, so it's not really a thing, jaywalking, it's just been kind of like, if a cop catches you, that's it,
Yeah.
And because there's no jaywalking offence in the UK, you can cross a road whenever you want, just be careful.
Yeah, we've looked at it before, haven't we? Like where that law came from.
Yeah, I think we talked about it before, yeah.
I can't remember what the history is, but it seems odd that it was ever just a thing over here and not over there. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like something that would be in Britain considering the road laws.
Yeah.
There's
it's
a lot
got to be something that just came out of, like, the highly densely populated areas like New York City, New England, you know, where there's a lot of people who walk, but there's also a lot of vehicle traffic. You know? It has to.
I think so too. Yeah.
Whereas in Britain, there's never. There's not really.
There's a lot of pedestrian traffic.
There's a lot of pedestrian traffic, but there's nowhere where there's a lot of pedestrian traffic and a lot of cars.
Traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even in London, London's
traffic.
a really busy city, but you can definitely find pockets where
there's also
there's not a lot of cars driving around. Whereas in, like, New York City, it's like every street is just packed most of the time.
Cars, yeah. Like, you've got to do it at a proper assigned stop. And you have that in the UK, you have, like, traffic lights and crosswalks.
Yeah.
Pedestrian crossings and stuff. But if you're walking down the street and you're just like, oh, I need to get across, you just look left, look right, look left again, look right again, boom, off you go,
Yeah.
But that's it, it's just that kind of, like, it's just very, like, a weird law to a lot of Brits. And the media sometimes...
It's just a safety thing. It's just for your protection,
Yeah. Birthright citizenship is another weird one. Because, over here, you're born on American soil, you're a US citizen.
Yeah.
More or less,
Mm-hmm.
Boom,
Yeah.
But in the UK, if you're born on UK soil, it does not automatically confer citizenship to you.
Okay, so...
There must be other circumstances.
What?
You have to go through the forest and, pick up these enchanted rings. And...
Yes.
No, if you get citizenship if born in the UK and if at least one parent is a citizen or permanent resident.
Okay.
So you've got to,
one of your parents has to be.
If you're like two American parents, you come and you get born in the UK. You have to, like, no, you can't automatically apply for a passport.
We won't get too political here, but there are plenty of people in America who would prefer that that was the case over
yes,
here.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's something, but also it's like they'll fight to defend that right of being born in the US makes you American,
Yeah.
American.
It depends. It depends on who you are.
Because the American policy of unconditional citizenship it's kind of unusual to the rest of the world. It's like, just because you're born somewhere doesn't automatically make you a citizen of that country with full rights and privileges therein.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of weird because let's say, like, you have no intention of having your kid in America. You're just passing through. Like, let's say a woman, she's, 6 months pregnant. She's fine to travel. She's fine to, go. And something, just whatever happens, nature, and the baby comes early. And while she's on vacation in freaking Philadelphia or somewhere, and it's like, uh-oh. I'm going to have this baby here. I didn't mean to, Maybe she doesn't want her kid to be American, you know what I mean? Like, they're just on vacation. They were just going to come over here, like, one last vacation before she has the kid, and the kid decides to come early. And it's just like, oh, nope, that baby was born here. They're American. Like, what? It is kind of crazy,
Boris
really.
Johnson was born in New York.
Yeah, and his parents are both British, though, right?
Yeah. So, but he had citizenship, because I guess his birth was registered there. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess it would have had to be. I don't know if his father was like some attaché for the embassy or something over there, or whatever, diplomat or something. But yes, he had citizenship for a long time. But then, I don't know, he was doing something. He was making all these, like, campaigning to be London mayor or whatever.
Yeah.
And the IRS decided to look in, oh, wait a minute, you haven't paid tax all your life and you're a US citizen.
Oh, no.
And then he quickly renounced his citizenship. Then he was like, "Oh no, get away!"
Oh my god!
It was something the IRS kind of like made a thing. It was like, wait a minute, you know.
That's another
you haven't
crazy.
Paid tax you haven't paid tax all your life, and you know.
That's another crazy law that doesn't exist in Britain.
That's another. It is, yes, it is. But I have a feeling there's some sort of like, you know, it's something that the UK government would like to happen. You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, with so many expats and stuff living in Spain and around the world, it's going to be hard to enforce.
So I think we've talked about it or briefly mentioned it before, but if you don't know what we're talking about, basically, if you're an American citizen, if you live in any other country around the world for any extended amount of time, but do not renounce your American citizenship, so you get permanent resident status anywhere, wherever in the world.
UK, anywhere, and you're working there.
Yeah, let's use the UK as an example. You're working in the UK, you're earning money, so you're paying tax in the UK because you're living there and you're working there. Guess what? Because you're an American citizen, you are also paying taxes in America.
You also have to pay tax. Yeah, it's income tax.
Income tax, yeah.
It's not just tax.
No.
It's income tax. But I think the UK, and I think other countries, they take this into account when they're taxing you, or something.
Oh, I don't know, but
I think I've read somewhere that's like, so we don't like tax you more.
Yeah.
Than you should be, you know.
So luckily,
you get to apply for like a benefit or something. I mean, I'm not sure on that. I mean, someone will have to like look into that who knows more about it and let us know.
Yeah.
On Instagram or Butty, and you know, so let us know if you're listening, or Facebook or Twitter, same handles. So, so because you know that's just a crazy law.
That's a crazy law.
It's probably one of the reasons why.
Yeah, so when you're a citizen from whatever other country, and you're living in the United States, you're gonna pay income tax here because you're living here, you're making money here, but you don't have to pay also in the country that you're from, because that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because it shouldn't, just because, I'm not living in the US anymore. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm not using the US services. So basically, I'm paying tax to just be a citizen, you know?
Yeah.
Of that country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I guess is what, you know, it's a shrewd financial move, isn't it? You know, on the part of the US Treasury.
Yeah. Well, they're banking on people not wanting to give up their citizenship.
Well, they're banking on, and they're also banking on people not moving out of the country too, you know, because, I mean, a lot of Americans would never know this, you know, would never know, I have to pay tax.
Well, we didn't until fairly recently.
Fairly recently, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's one of those crazy things.
Yeah. Another one is food service, egg washing requirements.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the US, eggs have to be washed and chilled and put in the fridge, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, farmers then actually must sell unwashed... Well, UK grocers must sell unwashed eggs and rarely refrigerate them. Because the egg is protected. And, you know...
Yeah.
It's like, you know... Because the washing procedure over here... like strips a layer or something off them,
like that,
and it makes the eggshell softer, so more.
Well, yeah, more contamination. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why
the brown eggs.
You're more likely to get salmonella if you eat an undercooked egg over here than you are in the UK. Let's say, you know. Just because of our process, but at the same time, they're cleaning it for you, and, you know, because I've heard people say, I don't remember this, though, so I don't know if it's just people saying it and they don't know what they're talking about, because I'm sure I ate eggs in Britain, or I at least saw them, but the eggs in Britain don't come with, like, chicken poop and stuff on them, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, because I've seen people say, oh yeah, but in Britain they don't wash their eggs, so when you get them you have to wash them really well, and there'll be bits on them and stuff. No, I remember.
No, it's just like brown eggs, and they're in like a
Well, the brown is just because they came from brown chickens.
Yeah, I mean, mostly the brown chickens, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I ever really saw a white egg in the UK until I came to the US, because everything is white over here.
Yeah, you thought
including all the people and all the... And it's just like, it was all white eggs and freaking in rows. I was like, where's the brown? And I guess it was like free range or organic or whatever.
It's just what we're used to. I don't know. And I don't know why. I mean, you can get brown eggs, yeah, but most of the eggs you're going to see in the grocery store are white for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was like...
That does freak British people out, though.
All the white eggs, yeah, they look like they've been painted.
White?
Because sometimes they do look like they've been painted. You take one out and it's like perfectly white. It's like Sheldon from Garfield, you know. I'm just expecting his little feetsies to come out the bottom of it and start running away, you know. Guess I'm just an egg. But yeah. I mean, you've been on an egg kick recently, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been doing her megas.
Been eating a lot of eggs, yes.
Yes. But I mean, in the UK, you know, it's like that freaks people from America out that, they're not refrigerated.
Oh, it did me. It did me. I was just like,
oh no.
Why don't you have your... We won't be able to eat these. Why you eat these from just sitting on the counter?
You crack them.
Oh,
and
no.
you put them in the pan.
Yeah, maybe I didn't eat any in Britain because I was freaked out by that.
Yeah, maybe you
didn't. The fact that your dad didn't eat them.
Well, next time...
Because Dominic doesn't eat eggs anyway.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm completely... I mean, I don't eat eggs. I don't eat them anyway. I tried them scrambled once when I was a kid, and I was just like, no.
You eat them as an ingredient in things, but...
Put them in a cake, put them in like a batter mix, and, you know, cook that stuff, and it's like, yeah...
Fried or scrambled.
Fried or scrambled on their own.
Oh, no, you will eat an omelette sometimes. You'll eat an omelette.
It will have to be, like, cooked beyond belief.
And have all kinds of stuff in it.
Have, like, chicken and peppers and everything in it, you know? And cheese and everything, yeah, so, yeah. It's illegal to be drunk in a pub in the UK.
Is it now?
It is.
Is it really?
One weird UK law which may come as a big shock to many is the fact that you're not actually allowed to be drunk in a pub. No, you're not. And apparently there's a law against falling asleep in a pub too.
Oh, yeah.
According to Metropolitan Act of 1839, it's against the law for the keeper of a public house to permit drunkenness on premises. Under the Licensing Act of 2003, it's also illegal to serve alcoholic beverages to patrons who are already intoxicated or purchase alcohol on behalf of someone who was already drunk.
I mean, I think that's the same over here. You know,
I've grown up in... I mean, they've never really enforced... You know, that if someone's really, really drunk and they're causing a nuisance, the barman's like, right, get out, you know?
Yeah.
But if you're just sitting there laughing and you're drunk or whatever, you're just like, okay, it's time for you. You've had enough now. It's time for you to go home.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's kind of like you got to get out of here before the cops come, you know, and see that you're drunk.
Yeah.
In a pub.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know...
I mean, public drunkenness, that's a law over here as well.
Because, you know, it's like, you know, you go up to the bar or something and you're visibly drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And you stink. And you're just like...
You stink.
You know, your breath stinks. So, you know, it's just like, oh...
If you come up to a bar and you stink, it's a law against that. Get out of here right now.
I grew up in pubs with my father, you know. Yeah. I'm just like, I've seen that happen. You know, they come up and they go, oh, I'll just have one more for the road. And it's like, no.
And when they say for the road, they don't mean like they're driving. They're going to walk home, okay?
They're going to walk on one for the road, you know.
Yeah.
You know, just to keep me going on the road, you know. And I mean, that we'll talk about road laws in a minute. But yeah, no, I've seen that, you know, that the barman's like, nope, absolutely no way are you getting another drink.
Yeah.
I could lose my license. Mm-hmm. You could lose your freedom.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same over here. Yeah. There are laws against public drunkenness. You know, if you seem too drunk, barmen should not serve you, but they often do, especially in a really busy bar. I mean, unfortunately, they're not paying that close attention.
And the cops can arrest you if they see you look like you're drunk and you're going towards a car.
Oh, yeah.
They can get you before it's like, what do they call it, the Minority Report?
Like, arrest you before the crimes happened.
Before the crimes happen. And it's like, they've got, like, if a cop sees you pulling your keys out or, you know, oh, I'm going to get in that car now. They'd be like, okay, no, you're not, and they will arrest you for it,
Yeah.
And throw you in jail.
Intent to drive while intoxicated
the intent
or
to drive.
something like that.
And this is the road laws are so serious in the UK.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about land now. Property ownership is subtly different in the UK versus the US. In England and Wales, all land ultimately belongs to the Crown.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But then it's very common for someone to have a freehold, which means they own a particular parcel of land. Quite commonly, the freeholder is different from the person who owns a house with a mortgage and so on. This difference happens most often for people who own properties that come in multiple units, like a flat or a subdivided house or sometimes a terraced house.
Mm-hmm.
Many people living in living situations that the US might consider home ownership are in a situation called being a leaseholder in the UK.
Okay.
They own a home, typically a flat or a subdivided home, and as part of the deal they also pay an annual ground rent to the freeholder. Someone who owns a house as a leaseholder probably has a very long lease term, like many decades, like 50 years.
Okay, so we'll finish and then I'll...
When they go to sell their house, if the lease term is less than about 80 years, the buyer will typically demand they negotiate an extension with the freeholder before finishing the sale.
So is the freeholder then like the landlord, like
a landlord, yeah.
Like an actual, like the term landlord comes from the lord of the land.
Yeah, that's what it comes from. Yeah,
and you are paying
a typical ground rent to him. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's basically like you own it because what does he want your house for?
Yes,
really.
no, yeah.
But you have to pay. Instead of like to the
government,
I guess. So wait, do property taxes exist in Britain, or do?
Yeah, there's a council tax.
Okay.
Which people in flats have to pay, whereas over here, if you're renting, you don't have to worry about property taxes.
No, just the whoever owns
But council taxes. But in some places, you have to pay for like local services and stuff.
Okay.
Which I guess is like trash pickup and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a council tax.
So the lord who owns the land, does he have to pay like?
I don't know what. I guess
does the crown get a percentage of whatever he makes off of his land?
I'm not sure what the whole thing about it is.
Because
I think that might ultimately go to the government. Because everything goes to the government, and then it gets divvied out to the crown.
Yeah.
As it's been explained.
Because the government owns the crown, essentially,
yes,
right?
There is no absolute monarchy anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I am your king! I didn't vote for you.
Yeah.
It's very much like it all goes to the thing, and then the sovereign grant is given to them,
Okay.
So everything goes to the government first, so, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of this happens too often in the US.
Well, no.
You obviously don't have crown land
yeah.
ownership.
Yeah.
But they also don't use freehold leasehold structure very much. Typically in the US, someone who is a homeowner owns both the house and the land it's on.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
It's not always, because from this person in Quora says, I've heard on-campus fraternities at MIT whose houses have a 99-year lease from the school. So the school own that house.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, when you're buying that's why the school can shut the fraternity down if they are getting in too much trouble. And they're just like, nah,
Yeah, you're out of here.
Yeah, basically.
But, that being said, it's like, oh, I want to pay a ground rent to people, and that's a bit weird. The US has its own quirks. And one of them is the Homeowners Association.
Yes.
Which is uniquely American.
Yeah.
Because it operates like a shadow government, like a shadow small government,
yes.
Which, as you say, people like Republicans and stuff like that do not want small governments.
Yeah.
But that's what...
they do not want big governments.
Big government, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good of it. So this is perfect. A Homeowners Association. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, you have like a co-op or own part of the house, like a condominium or a co-op or whatever, and similar maintenance fees for the upkeep of the local surroundings or whatever.
Yeah.
And the homeowners association is like, it's in the deed that says if you own a house on this land, you agree to become part of a private organization called a homeowners association that gets almost unlimited say over what you can do with the land, and almost an unlimited power to collect taxes or fees and seize your house if you don't pay.
Yes, that's the craziest thing to me. Yeah.
It's like the land of the free, except the homeowners association owns everything.
Yeah, except the land of the free unless you live in a homeowners association, and then they get to tell you what you can and can't plant, what trees or plants in your own yard that you can cut down, what colors you can paint your house, whether you can leave your grill out front in your driveway. This girl I used to work with, she and her husband built their house. So they picked out everything that they wanted, this really pretty big house, in this neighborhood that happened to be, obviously, because most new builds are part of a homeowners association. And they had a cookout one weekend. Okay, that's fine. The homeowners association is fine with a party, but you can't leave your grill out in your driveway. Well, she didn't want to pull it back into the garage because it was so hot when they finished. It was like at night. Yeah. It was super hot. She didn't want to pull it into the garage.
Yeah, so she just left it. It's a fire hazard.
Yeah, so she just left it out on the driveway overnight. Just overnight, like she got up in the morning and there was a note on her. She was being reprimanded by the homeowners association for having her grill in her driveway. Yeah.
Who was, and someone obviously, like, there must have been
one of the neighbors complained, or I don't know if they have somebody that drives around.
They must have had someone that drives around, because, it's like, not all homeowners associations is the same. Some are pretty good, apparently.
Yeah.
Some are, like, well-oiled machine, tight-knit, whatever. Yeah. But some are just crazy toxic.
Yeah.
Don't like the look of you, so we're going to have a go at you.
Well, obviously they have...
It's like you bought this house on this land. You own the house and the land, but no, you don't actually, because we get to tell...
We can kick you out.
Yeah, it's the mob rule.
It's like, we have paid for this house, but yet...
it's like
we
the
can
FBI
be kicked out
or the CIA. It's HOA, and they've got freaking a commando unit that freaking comes in and freaking seizes all your stuff.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Let us know if you live in a homeowners association.
Yeah, let us know if you love living in a homeowners association or you hate it, because they're always getting on to you about, that doorknob looked a bit weird this morning.
Yeah, your grass is more than 2 inches tall,
Better get out there or we'll come and get you. I wonder if anyone's had their house seized by the homeowners association.
I'm sure they have.
How are they going to enforce that, though? It's like, what, the neighbors are all going to come out with pitchforks?
Yeah.
I'm calling this because...
I guess they can call the police, I guess. I don't know, really.
If you're being a nuisance or a disruptive activity, but if you're not, and you just, like, he let his grass grow.
He never cuts his grass. We're taking his house, I guess you sign something that says that they can do that. So it's just like,
It's like, I've bought my house in America, my dream house, white picket fences, I own this land, I can do whatever. Well, wait, no, I can't.
Yes.
Council tax now.
Yeah.
This is the Homeowners Association of the UK.
Yeah.
Because people who don't like someone who's left their car that has no wheels out on the thing, they can call the council, and council come around and give you a letter or get this removed or we'll remove it,
Yeah.
So the council, but they're actually the government. They're the local government.
But that's like, get this removed or we'll remove it, but you don't get fined or anything.
They'll probably get a fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I was going to say that's
I think it's disturbing the area or something. It's something like
disturbing the area.
Disturbing the peace or something.
No, because that to me sounds like the code enforcers that we have around here. If you leave a car that won't run out on your curb for like 5 years and it has not moved, and the side view mirror is falling off.
They must work. The code enforcers must work for the local council, the Austin City Council.
You just call the code enforcers and go, that car has not moved in 3 years, and they'll come put a sticker on it and say, you need to move this car off the street or whatever. And if you don't, then they come tow it away. I don't know if you get fined or anything. I mean,
they'll
probably
send a fine to the address it's connected to or whatever.
Do you know you can get in trouble for parking the wrong direction? You can get in trouble with the code enforcers for parking the wrong direction on the street.
Well, there you go.
So if you're not parking with the flow of traffic, they can come and put a sticker on your thing that says...
Because we're not in a homeowners association here. But the homeowners association must be kind of like the code enforcers too.
Yeah, I guess
they have them all under their thumb.
And there's that neighborhood that we go... The next neighborhood over that we go walk in sometimes, they have those signs up that you cannot park on the street. You've got to park
in the designated parking area.
Or in your driveway or whatever. You cannot park on the street. There's no parking on the street.
That's obviously a homeowners association place. Yeah, they must have gone in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Maybe that lake or whatever, they come out. Whatever, They come out, they go, I see you, I've released the Kraken of the homeowners association on you.
Oh my gosh.
But council tax, in the UK, if you're renting a flat from someone, you owe council tax. Local tax that pays for the local services. In the US, if you're renting an apartment from someone, you don't owe local property taxes. Some US cities have other local taxes for residents, which are separate from housing costs.
Okay, yeah.
This lack of taxes surprised this guy a little bit. He grew accustomed to living in an apartment in the US and having someone else handle all the associated tax bills. Which I guess is I just pay the ground rent, or I pay the rent, and the guy who owns it
takes care of
the taxes, and whereas in rent in the UK, you typically pay a user fee for the local council services,
God, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really see too much weird with that, It's kind of like it balances itself out. But the road laws...
Yeah, we're going to have to kind of speed through this, because we're...
we're also... running a bit This late. Is the last one, don't worry. If you're bored of this.
Speed down the road.
It's illegal to pay with your phone at a drive-thru whilst your car is still running in the UK.
At a drive-thru? So, like a drive-thru restaurant?
Like McDonald's? Yeah. This law dates back to the mobile phone laws from 2003 that outline when it's illegal to touch a phone or a handset while driving. So if you're handling your phone while the engine is running, you're technically using your phone while operating a car.
But you're in park, though, right?
There is no park. No, it's the punishments for using your phone with the engine running at a drive-thru are quite severe. Pulling up to the window at your local McDonald's and paying with your smartphone with the engine on can get you slapped with a £200 fine.
What? But who?
And 6 penalty points if spotted by the police.
I mean, is there a cop just standing there going,
Well, no. No, but,
Are the people in the drive-thru going to call the police?
That's if you're spotted by the police.
Yeah, that's a bit silly, isn't it?
But it's so if there's a cop behind you waiting to get his hamburger.
Get his McDonald's.
He's like, wait a minute, they didn't turn their car off and I saw them
stick their phone out the window.
That's it, we'll have him.
It's taking too long anyway.
And, in circumstances where your driving is particularly careless at a drive-thru as a result of using your phone, you may have a court case and a £1,000 fine on your hands. Furthermore, if you only recently passed your practical driving test in the past 2 years, you face a ban from driving for doing it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Also, sounding a horn aggressively if you're annoyed or frustrated could land you with a fine of £50 with the possibility of it rising to 1,000.
Sounding your horn aggressively.
If you were to go to court contested and lose. And you may still even face this fine even if a pedestrian or driver acts dangerously or is at fault in some way.
Oh my God. These people would never survive in New York City. That's all you hear is people hollering, "Ah!"
Well, that's it. It's a road rage thing.
Yeah.
It's gone, like if you spotted by a cop looking like you're getting wound up.
Yeah.
You're just they pull you over and go, okay, yeah, you might need to calm down. What's the matter, Ronnie Pickering?
Oh my God. They should
who I am.
They should just be like the cab drivers in Mexico. They just all drive down with their windows rolled down, shouting "Ay cabrón" out the window at each
Well, that's the thing, you'd think, oh yeah, everyone's just a calm driver because they're scared of getting in trouble in the UK. The UK is probably the worst for the road rage. Even worse than over here, you're like, what? Oh yeah, just road rage everywhere,
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I mean, it's like, because, it's like people are honking and getting all around. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared to honk my horn nowadays because people are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on the gun law thing, it's not illegal to own a gun in the UK. It's just very, very difficult.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's all I have to say on that.
The end. Yeah, we're over time, but I hope you guys enjoyed that.
It's getting more difficult in the US to own a gun now.
Well,
the homeowners associations are coming to get you guns.
Yeah, there we go. We should put the homeowners associations in charge of.
Wait a minute, that gun is pink. I thought I told you you can't paint that gun pink.
Jeez. All right. Thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we'll talk to you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.